Hola, everyone. What's the scoop? It's SMA Program Lifecycle Live Week 5, and I'm your host, Sophie Kimball. What a weekend for Spain. La Roja, Spain's national football team, clinched the Euro 2024 championship in a thrilling final against England. And to top it all off, Carlos Alcaraz secured his second Wimbledon crown. Spain is officially the champion of Europe after that weekend. Felicidades, España. And now, onto our main event. Ajay Patel, Jacque Keats, and John Pryor drew a sold-out crowd for their presentation on executive summaries at the recent APMP Bid and Proposal Conference. Their talk, titled Make Your Executive Summary Memorable, took a novel approach by reading an executive summary to the audience, promising to keep everyone on the edge of their seats. The executive summary is a crucial part of proposals, capable of creating a strong unconscious bias in favor of our team. However, over time, these summaries have become less effective, often merely providing an overview of the summary of the proposal, rather than truly selling the story of why us in an emotionally compelling way. AJ, Jacque, John, Chuck Goddard, and Mark Stoneman wrote this executive summary as a groundbreaking method to reinvigorate its power. They crafted an executive summary for the upcoming large unmanned surface vehicle competition using a close third approach, immersing the reader in the story of why us. Let me read you the opening and closing paragraphs of this 4-page executive summary to give you a teaser of what might become a summer blockbuster. Let's set the scene. Commander Sally Hayes stared at the bank of monitors buried deep inside her ship, and her mind wandered. How long had it been since she had last been shot at? 3 years? No, longer than that. She had been the XO on the Stockdale, part of a carrier strike group conducting a freedom of navigation exercise in the Taiwan Strait. No one had expected China's PLA Navy to choose that day 4 years ago to redraw the red line, but suddenly she had found herself in the middle of the biggest naval battle of the 21st century. Both sides lost ships and took casualties in a brief but violent engagement that the world's press declared a tie. But it was the U.S. Navy that had stopped the battle from escalating into World War III. Taiwan remained sovereign and secure for now. But Uncle Sam didn't sail through the Strait of Taiwan anymore. And that didn't sound like much of a tie to Sally. So, here she was 4 years later, commanding her own ship, the USS Constellation, the first of the Constellation class of guided missile frigates, trying to keep peace in a world that seemed perpetually on a hair trigger. Although only a commander, Hayes was leading a flotilla of 5 ships and 140 sailors. That was noteworthy. Until recently, a captain or even a 1-star would have commanded a formation of this many ships. But if you take a closer look, you'd see what was truly revolutionary about the Constellation Surface Action Group. Only one of Sally's ships was manned, the Constellation. The other 4 were large unmanned surface vehicles, or LUSVs. Each was named after a body of water near the shipyard in Alabama where they had been built: the Polecat Bay, Mobile Bay, Chocoloquia Bay, and Grand Bay. Hayes didn't need the night vision and enhanced optics of her ship's sensors to see the Filipino Coast Guard vessel limping back to Bataan. The fire on its aft deck was still burning, lighting up the summer sky in an eerie glow. Somewhere behind it was a fleet of Chinese ships that had decided that that Filipino ship had gotten just a little too close to an island that hadn't existed last year. Finding and stopping them before this turned into another Taiwan was down to her. And now I'll read you the final paragraph. The night stopped burning, and the waves consumed what remained of the Chinese warships. The collaboration of American sailors and cutting-edge technology meant that only one U.S. vessel had been damaged, and it would live to fight another day. And that had been the difference, thanks to the accelerated building of the LUSVs and its enhanced capability. Without the LUSVs, today Sally would have been forced to operate tied to the carrier strike group 1,000 miles away from the fight. There was no ambiguity about this battle. There was a new red line in the Pacific, and it was about 100 miles north of the Philippines. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear of the result of 100 battles. Sally had allowed herself a slight smile for the first time that evening, and it seemed appropriate. Scene. By crafting engaging narratives, we aim to transform executive summaries into compelling stories that resonate with decision makers. This is a new approach to executive summaries that SMA will continue to develop and offer to clients. And now, we can't forget about this week's Art Flash on Anthony McCall. Over to you, Sarah.
Okay, so we have a really cool artist. Anthony McCall was born in 1946. He's a British-born, New York-based artist known for his solid light installations. So he kind of occupies the space between sculpture, cinema, and drawing. And his work's historical importance has been recognized in such museums as the Whitney, the Hirshhorn, and most recently, the Tate Modern in London. So these pieces are based on simple, animated line drawings, and these projections emphasize the sculptural qualities of a beam of light. In a darkened, kind of haze or smoke-filled room, these projections create an illusion of these three-dimensional shapes, ellipses, waves, and flat planes that gradually expand, contract, or sweep through the space.
Thank you so much, Sarah. But we can't forget about the final week of the Tour de France. Lexi, do we have an image we could show the audience? Oops, I guess we had the wrong photo of the tour because this looks like AJ, Jacque, Steve, and Donish were out on a bike ride. Or maybe our SMA staff is starting their very own Tour de Orange County. Well, that's the scoop, and this week's flavor is chocolate blackout cake. Yum. We'll see you all next week for more SMA news. Bye.